Good morning, Steve Jolly, the Benchmark Realty, here with you this morning on the Music City Show for October 15th, 2020. Thank you for tuning in this morning, and a special thank you to all my loyal viewers who tune in every Thursday morning around 8:30 for the Music City Show. Let's get to business. The first thing I want to talk to you about today is the ongoing series about buyer myths. And so there is a myth out there. Most people think it's going to save them money, that if home buyers want the best deal, then they need to work with a listing agent. And so this myth has been promoted by get-rich-quick seminars, the no-money-down seminars, the Carlton Sheets type of seminars that have been going around for 30 years, and probably also by agents who like to make twice the pay for only selling one home. So, but the real truth is that nothing is further from the truth, and here's why. Most people think that if they go to the agent, there's two reasons why people do this. And the first one is that they think they go to the agent, they're going to save money because they're going to save on that 3% commission or whatever it is that they think their buyer's agent is getting for the sale of the home. Well, here's what you need to know. So the commission agreement is part of the listing agreement between the listing agent and the seller of the home. And the buyer is not a party to that contract. That means they can't control the commission in any way. And even if they could, the seller is the one paying the commission. So if anybody is going to save any money, who do you think is going to want to save that money first? Is the seller just likely to hand a check over to you or to give you money? Not normally. And the second party to that contract is the listing agent. And if he's got to work the seller side of the contract and the buyer side of the contract, that means he has to do nearly twice the work for the amount of one check. I don't think he's going to agree to it either. So the seller and the listing agent are not likely to let go of that commission. If anybody's going to save money, it's going to be the seller in most cases. So that's number one reason why that's not likely to happen. The second reason why people like to go to the listing agent is because they think the listing agent has this knowledge that they know more about the property than anybody else. So let me ask you this question. Would it surprise you to know that there are listing agents who never step foot into their listings? They never see the inside of the home. It's going to be really hard to be the expert if you've never been the inside of it. So just keep that in mind. But here's some things I want you to consider before you decide to step forward. There's other things that I think are also important. So the listing agent has fiduciary responsibility to the seller. So that means they have to put the seller's interest first. And as a realtor, we take an oath to our code of ethics that we're going to put the seller's interest first, even above our own. So the seller's interests are first to the listing agent. Probably his own interest and the interest of his own family are second. So that puts you in third place for interest. So if you're working with the listing agent, he's got you in third place. Not where I exactly want to be. I'd rather be in first place with my own representation, with my own agent. And while the listing agent has to answer every question that you ask them honestly, they're not required to tell you everything they know. And I know there's this thing about knowledge, right? So you think the listing agent is an expert on this house. He may or may not be. But your buyer's agent, they should be an expert on the area. So what that means is not only do they know the right questions to ask, but some of these questions are things that you haven't even considered. And more importantly, they know the right follow-up questions to ask to get to the truth of the matter. And that's what's important to you, because you want to find out the truth so you can make the best decision for yourself and your family. And I'll give you a good example. Let's say you go straight to the listing agent on a new construction home and you buy a home that's under construction. And at the time you sign the contract, the builder's agent tells you it's going to be about 6 months before your home is ready to move into. So you make plans, you move forward, you sell your home. You're not worried about the builder's agent because he's taking care of all that for you. You come getting close to that 6-month time period and you find out your home isn't going to be ready on time. And that's a common thing. Builders, there's all kinds of reasons for builder delays right now. There is supply chain issues out there with getting materials in, all kinds of different materials, appliances, flooring, lumber, you name it, there's supply chain issues out there. There's also labor issues out there. It's hard. There's so many homes being constructed. It's hard to find skilled labor that's willing to show up to your site to work every day because other people are poaching them. And so what you need on your side is someone to watch that with you, and also somebody to explain at the very beginning, hey, if you read this builder contract right here, and most of them have this clause, it allows them up to 2 years from the time you sign that contract to complete your home. They have 2 years to do it, even though they told you they'll probably be ready in 6 months. And they can decide not to do it at all. So those are the things you have to consider. It doesn't happen a lot, but delays happen all the time. So you've got to keep that in mind. You've got to have somebody on your side looking out for your best interest. And that's why I say you always should have a buyer's agent. It doesn't cost you anything. The seller is paying the commission on it, but you need that representation to make sure your interests are first and somebody's looking out for you and somebody's looking out for your downside. All right, let's get on to the housing update for the week. So sales still heading up, although we were significantly down from last week. I think part of that has to do with we're about 5 weeks out from Labor Day. And so right now closings, once they go under contract, the time to get from contract to close is about 30 to 35 days. So I think we are seeing a down week because of that. Not sure 100% because also this time of year we should see sales starting to slow down. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. But the average or the trend right now is still going up for the year. The trend on the short-term side over the last 4 weeks is slightly downward, which we should expect this time of year. It's a little bit later than normal for that downward trend to start happening, but this is what we should expect. So no concerns. But still, there's a lot of activity going on, and you'll see more of that in a minute. So new listings are down 4.7% this week over last year. Still, we had almost 900 new listings hit the market, which is really good. We really need over 1,000, significantly over 1,000. We're not going to be there for a while, so we'll just keep an eye on it for you. Let's look at the short term. The short term is actually relatively flat. So we'll keep an eye on new listings for you because that's really the strangle. That's the choke point in our market right now. If we had more new listings, we could have more sales. So if you're thinking about selling your home, keep that in mind. There's still a bunch of activity out there. Buyers are still active, and you'll see that right now. So here's the number of showings, up 12.6%. We had nearly 10,000 showings on the across the market the last week. That's huge. 10,000 showings is what we've been averaging for quite some time now. You can see the trend over the last 2 months has been pretty steady. And at a time of the year when it should be declining. So keep that in mind. And over the short term, slight decline, almost flat for showings. It's kind of what we expect this time of year. Here's the proof of the pudding though. Under contract, up 42.4% over last year. So we had 1,017 homes go under contract, less than 900 hit the market. So we see we're a little bit upside down there. There's still a lot of buyer activity out there. They are still buying homes, still out there looking at them, still putting them under contract. Very strong market out there. If you're a seller, keep that in mind. There's still time left this year. If you act quickly, before everything starts to slow down. I'm guessing for sure it's going to slow down in November when we hit the holidays through the end of the year. Homes under contract, flat to a slight increase. So, buyers are still out there. They're still actively looking for homes. They're still actively placing contracts on homes and actually making them happen. So that is the good news out there. The market's still active. Now, if you like these, if you like this is something else that shows it's really active. Over the last 4 weeks, median sales price jumped up from about $348 to $351,600. $351,600 in median sales price in Nashville. When I started this just a few months ago, it was around 325, 330. So you can see how much prices have increased in the last 6 months or so. And, if you're renting and you see your home value could have gone up $25,000 in the time that you paid, that could have covered your rent over that period of time. Total days on the market dropped from about 82 down to 78. So things are moving a little bit faster out there, folks. Good news. If you like all this data, you like this chart, you want to look at it for yourself, the best way to do that is go to musiccityshow.com. You can see my data dashboard for Greater Nashville. This is information taken directly from the MLS and our showing service. You'll be able to see sales, new listings, homes going under contract, all the same info that I show you today, but you'll be able to see it for the time period that you want. You can zero down to your county, to your city, to your zip code in the Greater Nashville area. No one has given you this level of transparency or even providing a data dashboard except for me here in Nashville. So please take advantage of it. And I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, reach out to me soon. Next week, we're going to be continuing this series on myths. And one of the myths out there is that you should always renovate before you sell. Well, that might be true to some degree. You should always get your home ready to sell, but necessarily renovate. Well, we're going to find out the truth of that myth. We're going to get down to the heart of the matter next week on the Music City Show. Thank you for tuning in. We love you guys. Have a great week. Peace and love, y'all.